former President Jacob Zuma was expected to join former ANC leader and former KZN Premier Willies Mchunu at a rally in Durban, where Mchunu spoke out for the first time as a senior member of the MK party. The ANC veteran Willies Mchunu and former EFF MP Busisiwe Mkhwebane were unveiled as new members of the MK party last month. Now, the party has seen top-ranking politicians joining organizations. However, this has sparked wide conversations on the leadership and the MKP strategy and mandate in South Africa's politics. Let's now bring in political analyst Professor Ntsikelelo Breakfast to weigh in on this rally and other political developments. Prof, a very good afternoon to you. Always a pleasure speaking to you. Let's talk then about the latest developments. The MK party has, of course, gained a lot of new members to the detriment of the EFF, it would seem. Just give us your views on how this will further erode support for the EFF, possibly, while bolstering the leadership team, as it were, of the MK party.
Well, the MK party has been the biggest winner of late in terms of accepting new members. The interesting thing is that before the elections, the political spectrum to the left was fragmented. Of course, the EFF was leading the left in terms of framing the discourse, in terms of the relationship between the powerful and the powerless, or the relationship between the colonizer and the colonized, or the relationship between the oppressor and the oppressed. But that space now has been taken over by Umkhonto weSizwe, which has projected itself of late by adopting the new constitution as a leftist organization, and is leading on that front. But I think the party that has been really dealt with the blow in a big way was the EFF, because almost week in and week out, members are walking away from the EFF. But I think the MK party, what it needs to do now is just to bridge some gaps within itself. Like, for instance, they've not held a conference, they've not elected leaders, because they say they don't want to be hasty and rush into electing people without putting structures in place. But I think it has grown from strength to strength.
And I want to talk about the EFF, but let's park that for now and concentrate on what's happening today in as far as this rally is concerned. I mean, you didn't seem surprised with the resignation of Mchunu from the ANC last month, primarily because of his relationship with former President and MK party President Jacob Zuma. He is addressing this rally in Durban. Let's address his influence and impact as an experienced political figure from the ANC now, and his role within the MK party.
Well, first of all, he has a long-standing relationship with former President Zuma. So in my opinion, it stood to reason that he was going to walk away from the ANC. I think also, I think Umkhonto weSizwe, their strong point is that they come across, in my opinion, to be having a grand strategy in terms of how they want to destabilize both the ANC and the EFF, because you can see that their members are coming to the party bit by bit, as opposed to coming to the party at once. So there is a well-orchestrated strategy to booster the image of MK. So, but to answer your question, Unati, I was not taken aback by the turn of events in terms of the move that was made by Mchunu of joining Umkhonto weSizwe due to his long-standing relationship with the former President Zuma. But I think also there will be other members that will also join Umkhonto weSizwe, both from the ANC and also from the EFF. So Umkhonto weSizwe stands a good chance of really increasing its numbers.
Those are interesting comments around the EFF especially. I want to talk about the recent information that emanated from the former EFF chair, Dali Mpofu, regarding the formation of the MK party and who was instrumental in bringing that party together and its mandate in the political space. How do you view that, particularly because he was at pains when he was speaking to my colleague Mzwandile Mbeje about the fact that he had been engaging the EFF leader, Julius Malema, too. So he was aware that he was in conversation with the former President Zuma in these conversations of then forging this party that we now know as the MK party.
You know what, Unati, in the bigger scheme of things, I think the EFF has itself to blame, because the strategic mistake that they made was to reach out to former President Zuma with the hope that they were going to join forces and unleash a stronger attack on President Ramaphosa, because they have a common denominator, which is the fact that, in my opinion, they have issues with him. But they forgot that former President Zuma has not forgiven them. In my opinion, he still holds a grudge. And he used that, to recruit some members of the EFF behind their backs. So that partnership, I think, was the source of the problems of the EFF. Had Julius Malema not gone to former President Zuma over that team meeting, whatever, I think the EFF would have been stable even by now. So they've got themselves to blame. They made a mistake. They thought that former President Zuma has let go of their differences, but he still holds a grudge against them. And Advocate Mpofu says he was involved in the conceptualization stages of Umkhonto weSizwe, which begs the question. It begs the question as to whether did he vote for the EFF or not. I mean, if you are involved in the initial stages of formation of the party, it might mean, in my opinion, that he did not even vote for the EFF. He might have voted for the other party because it was already up and running.
Look, it begs a lot of question because it has so many moving parts, right? I mean, the previous clip that we've just heard now, EFF leader Julius Malema rejecting suggestions that the departure of senior party members, including, of course, Mpofu, to the MK party does not necessarily mark the downfall of the Red Berets. Going into this conference next month for the EFF, what does that signal, particularly as there are crucial leadership positions that need to be filled?
Well, it signifies that all is not well within the EFF. I mean, denialism is not going to help the EFF because they need to face the facts. The fact of the matter is they are losing members week in and week out. Surely that has a political meaning. You can't turn a blind eye to that and say all is well. Not all is well. They have a problem. Members are leaving. That is something that they need to respond to. And it looks like there are other, and also the way Julius Malema responded, I didn't see it coming. I mean, he didn't respond with maturity by saying that there are two more members that are on their way out, the other one sings well. That's not a matured way of responding to a crisis of this magnitude. But the key question is to whether will the EFF bounce back after all of this, because I think it is falling apart in my opinion.
Prof, let's leave it there for now. Thank you so much for weighing in on this conversation, of course, that is continuing to dominate news this weekend. Professor Ntsikelelo Breakfast, political analyst there for us.